Hello from Johannesburg. I'm going to chat to you a little bit about how to put together a short presentation of approximately 5 minutes or so. What I like to do is to firstly consider my audience and ask myself, how do I want them to react during the presentation, and how do I want them to react after the presentation? In other words, during the presentation, do I want them to be laughing? Do I want them to be sad? Do I want them to be intensely engaged? Do I want them to be considering action? What is it that I want them to do? But then at the end, what do I want them to action? In other words, what is it that I want them to actually do that is concrete, that will flow from what I've spoken to them about during that presentation? Now, what's interesting about setting it up in that way is that immediately you know what kind of presentation that you're going to be delivering. So it could be to sell them something, it could be to deliver a sermon, it could be to inspire them, it could be a eulogy at a funeral, it could be the delivery of a white paper. You get what I'm saying. There are any number of types of presentations, and because of that, there is no one presentation that you're going to give that has a particular structure. In other words, presentations can have different types of structures. So I'm not going to share with you one specific structure. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to put those structures together. One of the things that I'm pretty keen on is thinking about where I'm going to start with my presentation. And for me, logically, it's not where you might think it is at the beginning. It's actually at the end. Because if I know what the objective of my presentation is, in other words, what it is that I want them to do at the end of the presentation, well, then it's a lot easier for me to be able to set goalposts almost. I've then got my objective at the end, what I want them to do. I can then go back to the beginning. It's fairly then simple to work out how I'm going to do my introduction. And because it's my presentation and my story or my content, I pretty much know what I want to put in. And with regard to a shorter presentation, it means I just need to work out what I'm going to cut out so that my presentation isn't too clunky. Just remember that when you're delivering a shorter presentation, what you want to do is to make sure that you're still getting that message across in a really clear way without adding too much content in and bunching yourself at the end so that you actually don't get to your ending on time. So those are some of the important things that I want to share with you, but there's a little bit more. When you're delivering a shorter presentation, you're in a position where you have a lot more time to practice. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, simply this. Imagine it's a 45-minute presentation. How many rehearsals can you do in an hour? Yeah, you're dead right, just one. But if it's a 5-minute presentation, well, you can probably get in 8 to 10 rehearsals. Now, the upside of that is that you can get it really nice and smooth. But the downside of that is that you might over-rehearse it and find yourself in a situation where it almost becomes a little bit stale. So please avoid that. So all the best with your short presentations. Remember to try and be as spontaneous as you possibly can, not have it over-scripted, and enjoy it.